protect all of our citizens. I have long advocated, this is not what today is about, but there are too many guns on the street.
Governor, can you tell the people who live around here that there's not another person involved? It's just this one shooter
at this time.
Well, I'm talking about this every single day. This is a very serious issue.
That was Democratic Governor Terry McAuliffe exploiting this GOP baseball practice shooting almost immediately, using it as a forum for gun control. But Congressman Ron DeSantis, who was an eyewitness to the shooting, recounts and praises the brave efforts of Capitol Hill police, who he and many other witnesses say saved dozens from, quote, a massacre. Watch.
And had you not had Scalise there, that would have meant there would have been no reason for the Capitol Police security detail to be there. I think you're looking at a number of people wounded and likely killed, because we would have been defenseless. I mean, you can sit there and say you have a baseball glove or even a baseball bat, but this guy's got a rifle and a pistol, and I think it would have ended up being a massacre. So those Capitol Police saved lives today. There's no doubt about it.
Joining me now, Jan Morgan. Jan, I'm sure when this was all going down, you probably knew the immediate reaction from the left would be gun control.
Absolutely, Charles. I was literally counting the seconds and as soon as Terry McAuliffe got on camera, I knew it was going to be him that would bring it onto the table. But you know, what stood out to me, Charles, when I was listening and watching everything unfold today, was when one of the lawmakers said, "We felt like sitting ducks," and I thought, welcome to the real world that the rest of us live in America, where we don't have tax-paid security detail to follow us around, and we are left like sitting ducks in many of these gun-free zones across America, places where our lawmakers have legislated away our right to defend our lives. I am so sorry that this happened today, but maybe now that our Republicans and Democrats are having this warm and fuzzy kumbaya moment, maybe they'll actually use this time to come together and do something constructive on this issue, which is restore us back to constitutional carry in this country.
But Jan,
I feel so defenseless every time I come to D.C. I hate it.
There were several headlines out of these mainstream media, including the Washington Post. One that says, how common are shootings that leave 5 people wounded? Today's is the 53rd in 18 months, suggesting that it's guns that are the problem and not people not being armed.
No, the problem today, as in many cases, is you have a terrorist. This guy he had a political agenda. He came with a political agenda intent on massacre, and it was good guys with guns that saved the day. And once again, Charles, over 2 million times in this country every year, law-abiding citizens pull guns in self-defense and save lives. And in most of those instances, the trigger is never pulled. Simply pulling that gun stops the threat. And in most active shooter situations, police will be the first to tell you it's when the good guys with guns come on the scene, that's when the bad guy usually takes himself out.
Jan, I need you to stay right there, because I got 2 good guys in the studio with me right now. I want to bring them into the conversation, Steve Rogers and Bill Stanton. Bill, let me start with you. You know, again, you guys know this better than anyone else, but when you hear this sort of talk, and let's not forget there was a shooting in San Francisco that left many people dead, maybe a disgruntled employee, it echoes louder and louder, and they really would prefer that citizens, the average citizen, does not have a gun.
You know, it's interesting when we hear the governor speak this way. It's funny what happens when you have a drunk driver or someone speeding with a car. We don't hear him talking about wiping out cars for everyone. Steve is licensed to carry, I'm sure, as am I. We're the guys that you want to run behind when psychopaths like that go crazy. It is a Second Amendment right behind the First Amendment, and I echo what Jan was saying. We need to be able to defend ourselves. If you are using a gun in an unlawful manner, you are breaking the law. You're a criminal.
Steve?
You know what, Charles? It's always people like the governor there who were never the sitting ducks in their life. This gentleman to my right, myself, we know what it is to have guns pointed at us, and I'm sure you thank God, as I do, that we had weapons to protect ourselves. We need concealed carry weapons laws in this country that give our citizens the right to do what? To defend themselves.
You know, on that note,
and we need carry rights in Washington, D.C., too. We need carry rights in Washington, D.C. I have to come back to D.C. July 29th to speak at a rally, and I have to come there unarmed. I refuse to stay in Washington, D.C. I have to stay in Virginia, where at least I can have my gun. But, you know, that's got to stop, Charles. We've got to stop this whole preposition that somehow disarming law-abiding citizens makes bad guys harmless. It just doesn't work that way.
And yet today, most of the headlines were about guns violent, America being the deadliest nation in the world, yada, yada, on and on, Steve.
Well, Charles, keep in mind that there are gun deaths because the good guys don't have guns. They're left, as the congressman said earlier, defenseless. There's nothing they could do. These congressmen had baseball bats, for goodness sakes. Put those guns in the hands of law-abiding, trained citizens, and that death rate's going to go down.
The wolves will always prey upon the weakest sheep. When you have shepherds that can fight back and fire back, you're going to see a lot less of this.
Well, at least we don't have
Charles,
to worry about the executive office trying to take away our guns. But are you concerned, though, Jan, that there will be another major nationwide push to take away the right to bear arms?
Actually, Charles, there already is a nationwide push. It's not on a national level, though. What we're seeing happening in a number of states is because President Trump is pro-gun, you see a lot of citizens becoming complacent on the Second Amendment issue. I have been up against some of the most fierce Second Amendment battles with my own state lawmakers here in Arkansas, and I'm hearing that from states around this country. In fact, I'm speaking in Oklahoma in a couple of months, where the Second Amendment organization there tells me that citizens have become complacent, and meanwhile, Democrat lawmakers are saying, let's jump on this opportunity and take away gun rights.
And by the way, I want to use this moment to give a shout out and say that as of today, American children, we have 3 new heroes that they can look up to. The names of Special Agent